Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
I agree. Okay, let's just do one more team then. Let's just do the Mavs. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's start with the Mavs. This is the Mavericks, Dallas Mavericks NBA exit interview. They finished 39 and 43. I think they made the play in, right? And they lost in their first matchup. They traded away Luca and rewarded with the first round pick and 80. So, grade, man. What's your grade for them?
This has to be like one of the hardest grades to ever give.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
trade Luke, you trade Luca, and you're like F automatically. Then you end up with Cooper Flag, and you're like A. But I'm gonna settle with a D plus.
Mhm.
Again, C is average for me. And the only reason I'm gonna do that is we'll get into it. Is it's awesome to get Cooper Flag, but the way the Mavs are talking about keeping AD, re-signing Kyrie Irving, I don't know if it's perfect setting for Cooper Flag to look like the number one pick and what we kind of expect for him. So I think maybe that might skew it, and they'll probably be a fairly good team if Anthony Davis is healthy and the players they have pending any moves. Um, but I don't think playing Cooper Flag as a three is going to be awesome for him or make him look awesome in this on this team as a second, even third banana as Kyrie comes back.
Yeah, I hate like the possible progress stopper that this team could be for him. It's just always hard. Like this is a more extreme example, but like with the Golden State Warriors with James Wiseman and um Kuminga and Moody, it's like it's harder for young players when they go on teams that are like ready to win now because there's an expectation you put on them. And unfortunately, the Mavs after that Luka trade put an expectation on them that they need to win now. Like that's was the expectation that Nico put on this team. So I too I had them at an F after the Luca trade. They got the first overall pick. So I jumped up to a C minus because you're getting a generational talent. Everyone's really big on Cooper Flag. Um as far as other pros for the Mavs, I thought Max Christie had some moments. He looked like he's going to be a solid rotation player at the very least. Davis was good, like was really good when he was healthy. Like he really wanted to be there, so I think that's a good sign. But again, like the cons is the Kyrie injury. What's he going to be like when he comes back? Is he gonna, obviously he's getting older as well. And then the Luca trade was a huge con, and still it baffles me to this day.
Yep, and like Clay Thompson's getting older, you can see he has a very limited role. Derek Lively got hurt. Now you have Gafford. Like Gafford was great that playoff run to the finals.
Hmm.
Not so great this year. So you have a lot of good players, repeat players, and now you're going to add Cooper Flag, which is by no means a bad thing. But I put down age, injury, and pride, especially in the front office, is a hard mix for this team for what they're hoping to do, and maybe they'll luck out with it. But the way things go with the Mavericks, you never know.
Yeah, I agree. I think in the pride one is very big because Nico wants to be right. So we'll see what happens. Anything else on their season before we move on to the offseason?
Nope, just probably one of the most chaotic seasons we've seen in a long time.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, no lie, no lie. Okay, let's go to their offseason. So, like we mentioned, they got the first round pick, the first overall pick, I should say. First overall pick with a 1.8% chance. Somehow got it. Somehow got it. One more time, somehow got it. They get Cooper Flag, huge. They do have three other tradable first round picks. As far as free agents, Spencer Dinwiddie's a free agent. Kyrie has a player option. Dwight Powell has a player option. And I think that's about all the important stuff. So what's your takeaway from their offseason? What do you want them to do? What do you think they'll do, I guess?
So I think they're just going to kind of stand pat. They're going to extend Kyrie. I mean, you pretty much have to at this point. I'm sure there's some moves around the edge, like with Gafford or PJ Washington, that you could make. Like, they're going to have to clear up room because Cooper Flag is not the Reed Shepard of this draft. We were like, oh no, you can play spot minutes. So they have some moves to make. I think they should kind of just they have enough good guys that you should kind of just tear down some and really play for a couple of years from now and let Cooper Flag be a one because high school, college, that's what he's been,
Yeah.
and he's not going to be here. Uh, but I don't think they're going to do any of that. I think they're just going to try to run it back and fit him into a role. And the great Jason Kidd can tell him not to shoot threes. It's just I kind of feel bad for Cooper Flag, and he's gonna get his money and such. But I this feels train wrecky to me again.
Reminds me a little of well, obviously Flag's a little bit better of a prospect, but like when like Darko went to Detroit. It's like this team is trying to win a championship, so we don't have minutes for you. And obviously they won't do that to Flag, obviously, but it's still like, man, I think the interesting part is like obviously AD is not a big fan of playing center, but if he would during points, him and Flag being out there together would work. It'd be an interesting pairing. But you kind of have like this team that you build to win now, and you kind of have this guy that needs to have time on the court to live through the mistakes that he needs to live through. He needs playing time, and it's going to be just kind of this balance. And he's going to be, like you said, like the third option on this team. So it's going to be just a little harder for him. But I think, they'll stay at one. I think that's basically the only move that I foresee them doing is they're just going to draft Cooper Flag and then just, re-sign between the lines here and there. Maybe make a couple trades, maybe not big trades, but trades, the for the margin, in the margins. And I think that's what they'll do. So I don't think their offseason is going to be super complex. I think it's pretty straightforward. And it's because they got a generational talent that they can draft and be like, okay, let's go.
And it's even hard to play KD at the five because you have Lively, and he's
AD,
shown something. So yeah, who did I say KD?
KD, yeah, yeah,
They're all the same. No,
yeah,
yeah, I mean that would be perfect. But Derek Lively showed potential. They seem to like him. AD, as you mentioned, doesn't seem to prefer to play center unless they absolutely have to. So I guess it's a good problem to have because you have good players and you have options. It's just I don't trust them to do the right thing
right.
for looking at Cooper Flag as that piece, opposed to trying to win. And the ACL of Kyrie Irving makes it even more difficult because he's probably not coming back to the second half of the year. And then you got to make further changes to what you've done for 50 or 60 games of the season.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You got any long shot for this team?
I would love for them to trade AD and just bring in. I mean, I couldn't even think of a team that was like
Tob
awesome. Like maybe, go ahead.
I was gonna say Tobias Harris and Ron Holland. Just kidding. Just kidding.
You come to the Pistons. I even thought of like again the Cavs. But the Cavs don't have the picks. If you moved out Allen, and then um, you have you already have your center there. So I think they're kind of like who would take Anthony to trade him back to the Lakers. But I think their move that they should make to free up Cooper Flag at the four, keeping Lively, Christie, PJ Washington, like these useful guys, would be to move on from AD. And I even get keeping Kyrie just for to have a guard. Um, but I just don't think they're going to do it because I think you could get a good amount. You got to get Luca, but you get a good amount for AD and kind of turn the team back over to Cooper Flag is on a a little longer time frame than Anthony Davis.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't have a long shot, mainly because I just like, well, they're not going to trade the first round pick. I don't 0% that happening, and I don't see them trading AD because, like you mentioned, the pride factor is there. But I do think you're right. Is trading AD, maybe even Kyrie, and just kind of getting a bunch of young guys and just being like, okay, guys, you know, this is Flag's team. Let's build around him and Lively, and like you said, Max Christie. See what these guys got, and just move on. You even got Klay Thompson there right now. Good, move on from him if you can. But I don't have any hope that that's what they're going to do. I'd be curious what Maverick fans would like, but you know that's I'm with you sort of there. Like it would be nice if they move on from KD and maybe some other ones to pave the way for these young guys to kind of take over the franchise.
Yeah, and I would really like to see you know them let Cooper Flag go, like not trade him, but like let him come in. He seems pretty developed. I mean, he has such lofty expectations that sometimes you feel bad for a guy that comes in and people are like, oh, he's going to be like a more modern version of like Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett, and you're like, well, that's hard to meet that lofty expectation. But he didn't look overly excited that he was going to Dallas.
I wouldn't be either. Yeah.
Because I think he knows, like, great. And it's that hard process of, it's not just the Mavs, but other teams. Like a lot of these guys come up, the Rockets kind of have it too, where these guys come up being ones or twos, and then they come to the NBA, and now you're going to tell the number one pick that everyone was tanking for to be like, hey, play the wrong position, and you're going to be like third banana by the end of the season. Not ideal, but you can't complain getting the pick. I think over time it'll play out, but I think this next year and a half might be a little odd for him and the Mavs to come to grips with what they have, and who the heck knows in this NBA? Maybe it works out great in the conference finals next year, but it's just such a weird season, a weird process, and a weird result when you look at their roster and what they have and what they could do, and you're basically banking it on AD and Kyrie, and that's a scary proposition.
Yeah, correct. AD to the Spurs. Would you like him in?
That would be good, but again, both of those guys I don't think really want to play center. But I think if you're AD and you're like, dude, suck it up, you're playing next to Wemby, and you can kind of switch off. I mean, Wemby can play center, but he struggles. Like if Embiid is healthy, you're like, hey, that's not the matchup. But I think that's another awesome matchup combination, because defensively that is just
it'd be ridiculous.
Insane.
Yeah,
and you get the spacing because Wemby can shoot it, so I wouldn't hate it. But again, if you're the Spurs, the Mavs probably want a lot for that, and that's even you probably have to give up more for AD than KD. And
true.
Then you're kind of creeping the waters, like
AD's younger though, right? So yeah. It would be like, would they do like the second pick? I don't know, and then you could keep Fox, Castle, Wembanyama. You add AD there. I don't know. No, I'm just dreaming right now. I didn't put any, like all the other trades I've done. I threw in the trade machine to see if it's even possible, and I've like thought about it. For the Mavs, I didn't even think about any.
Yeah, it's just they're again similar to the Suns. You're like, well, I know what I think an obvious thing we to do, but I don't think this team is thinking like the obvious thing to do. But Anthony Davis and Wemby would be one heck of a front line.
Yeah, it would. Okay. Anything else on the Mavs? No.
No, just be happy you got a pick if you're the Mavs. You replace one white superstar with hopefully the next. So
Yeah, hopefully this one plays defense. Otherwise, he'll be gone in a couple of years too. So, yeah.
Well, they'll put him at the 3 and he'll look slow on defense. And he'll be like, "Oh my God, what did we do?"
Yeah, exactly. Okay, man. Well, thanks a lot for joining me. This was fun to get back together.
I know.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.